You know, when I was a kid, I remember things like Halloween and we all get dressed up, go trick-or-treating. It was kind of cold outside. Come Thanksgiving, you know, it was cold outside. Christmas Day, it was cold outside. We were doing New Year's, popping fireworks. It was cold outside. Well, I'll be damned if Christmas morning 2025, I wasn't sweating bullets. So things are changing. The climate is changing. I'm not going to tell you it's global warming. I'm not going to tell you what Al Gore said it was or wasn't, but you know, we can recognize it. Things are starting to shift here. And so I want to rewind, you know, 5 years ago to 2021 when everything froze. Houston was one giant skating rink. Hang around, stick around. In this video, we're going to talk about what that might mean for you and your foundation. So February 2021, it got cold. Now, Eric behind the camera and I have a little disagreement about how cold it got, but I mean, brass tacks are, it was cold. Everything was frozen. School was shut down. Hell, the damn post office wasn't even running around. It was cold. It froze. And what that led to was a bunch of people, a bunch of Houstonians, people just in this general region that had busted pipes. And I'm sure if you or anybody have, well, not been under a rock for the last however many years, you know that when it freezes, it might burst your pipes. I know we did a video on this, I don't know how many videos back. Now I'm losing count now, how many we've done. But we did a video talking about insurance claims and does the insurance cover your foundation damage? And 2021 was the year I saw the absolute most approved insurance claims on foundation movement. But just because we had a bunch of approved claims doesn't mean everybody got taken care of. Either they didn't have insurance or didn't have adequate insurance, or maybe they didn't realize this was something the insurance might pay for. Or if you drive around town, you see all the, you know, billboards around, you know, getting hammered by the insurance company, we'll hammer them back, you know, the insurance lawyers. Maybe somebody didn't have the wherewithal to pick up the phone after they got their claim denied and call an insurance lawyer. And I'm not giving you legal advice, nor am I telling you to call a lawyer or call your insurance company. But, you know, there were a lot of people that that were affected by this freeze event. And, you know, at the time of this film, and it's January 8th, 2026. And by the way, from us from CoreTech, want to wish everybody watching this a Happy New Year. We're fixing to get into February, which in the last handful of years has historically been the month that it freezes. Hell, it froze last year in February. I know because I got pictures of my kids making snowmen in my backyard. My snowman looked like absolute garbage, and of course my wife's came out pristine. But, you know, let's talk about the effects here. The reason so many insurance claims were approved was because some event happened, something that was abnormal happened that caused the foundation to move. And what happened was the pipe froze, the pipe got below freezing temperature for long enough to cause the water inside the line to freeze, cause some expansion inside the line, boom, the pipe burst and water went everywhere. What that did was oversaturate the soils around people's houses. And really, it didn't affect the slab houses too much. Now, we're doing this kind of PSA for you boys and girls that have the pier and beam houses. And, you know, for the ones, for y'all that have the pier and beam houses that still have those old water lines that run underneath them. There's a bunch of y'all out there. You know, West University, the Heights, I mean, you know, even in the outlying areas, there's a lot of y'all pier and beam folks that might benefit from hearing this. So our public service announcement to y'all is, look, we got about a month before things get kind of cold. I know we're fixing to hit a cold front here in a couple of days, I think next week sometime at the time of the filming of this. But in the event that we catch a freeze, we don't want to protect the pipes just to save against plumbing repairs. We want to protect the pipes because here's the thing, if you were out of town or you're at work or, you know, hell, maybe it burst and you didn't even realize what happened. We want to try to mitigate the amount of moisture, the amount of that volume of water from entering your crawl space or saturating the soils around or underneath your house. You know, that is a big reason why, like even in our paperwork, you know, when you hire a CoreTech foundation repair, really any other foundation repair company come out and do work on your house, that's a reason that is the biggest thing. Ours is highlighted and all that. Your warranty will be null and void if plumbing leaks cause movement, you know, after we've done the repair. The reason behind that is because that extra hydration can and will cause your structure to move. Like I said earlier, I'm getting lost in the number of videos we've made here, and I'm swimming. So I can't tell you how many videos ago it was or what episode it was, but a while back we did a video about the fine print on warranties, and this is where I don't care. I'll share it with you. I mean, some people might be a little sheepish about showing you the fine print, but I will show you what our quote unquote fine print is. In the quote unquote fine print, the terms and conditions of your warranty, bar none, the biggest thing that can and will void your warranty is a plumbing leak. And so this is why I'm kind of harping on this, because if it'll void a warranty, what do you think it'll do if you don't have a warranty? It's going to cause movement. So, if you want to get a little more information or you want to kind of bone up on the fine print stuff, go back and check that video out, and or maybe we'll put a link to it or something in here. The bottom line is this. Too much moisture can and will cause your homes to move. Now, look, I'm talking more to you, the pier and beam folks out there. If you got a house that's sitting on piers, you got a crawl space underneath it, whether you live in West U, the Heights, Montrose, maybe you're in some of the outlying areas that have, some older pier and beam homes, or maybe you live in one of those new, like David Weekley pier and beams or something like that. Even the new pier and beams they're not immune to this. Too much moisture can and will cause movement. When you have crawl spaces that have water lines in them, if the water lines leak, it can, and they're not fixed. I mean, here's the thing. If it leaks for 5 minutes and you turn it off, it's probably going to be. But if it leaks for days and it goes unattended, it will cause movement. I mean, I can tell you right now. And going back to the 2021 deal, and I think I said it earlier, but maybe I'll just sound like a broken record here for a second. That's the one thing that caused the most amount of insurance claims, approved insurance claims, that have fixed people's foundations. I'm not talking about the drunk driver that ran off the road and hit your house and it had to be fixed. I'm not talking about the weird oddities. I'm talking about the one period in history where more people got insurance checks to hire companies like us to go out and go fix it. I don't care what kind of house you live in. I don't care if it's a slab, it's a pier and beam, it's one of them coastal jobs, it's on the beach. I mean, if we're going to receive cold weather and we're fixing to experience a freeze, I don't care if it's 30 degrees, and chances are it's going to be all right. Take preventative measures. Wrap your pipes, maybe drip a line in overnight or something like that. Do the typical preventative measures that you would normally do just to keep, maintain your water lines. Those funny looking covers that go on the hose bibs that always sell out the minute the news tells us there's going to be a freeze at Home Depot. You see pallets of them, and then 30 minutes later it's nothing but cardboard remnants of what used to be the box they came in. Do all of that stuff. I mean, there's no one magic thing that can prevent this. I mean, other than, well, actually, now that I think of it, the one definite way to keep your pipes from bursting, and this is really inconvenient, the one definite way to keep your pipes from bursting is to drain them. And so if if it's a 2021 thing again, and we know it's going to get to close to zero, and like I said, Eric and I can see him smirking behind the camera, but we had a little disagreement as to how cold it got. But if it's going to get that cold and it's going to be a legit hard freeze, the only way you can guarantee that the pipe isn't going to burst because the water froze in it is if there's no water in it. And so I'm not suggesting you do this if it's going to get to 28 degrees, but I am suggesting that you consider this if you know it's going to get down to temperatures where a burst is probable. And the easiest way to do it is you go and obviously turn the water off at the street, right? And then you drain the system. That means you open all the faucets inside, you open the hose bib outside, and what will actually happen is if the faucets and the water lines are higher than the hose bib, the water will drain down and out the hose. Anyways, I mean, the only way to guarantee that a pipe isn't going to burst during a freeze is if there's no water in it. So take that for what you will. If you want to consult a plumber or do some Google foo and try to figure out, other possible ways to keep your pipes from bursting, that's a good idea. Just, this kind of goes back into general maintenance. When people ask us about foundation maintenance, general maintenance, just maintain your stuff and the foundation will kind of fall in line. Folks, I hope this was a good little PSA. Hope that maybe, it might cause a little thought, that maybe y'all might want to put towards your homes as we approach this quote unquote new freeze season. Folks, we just want to try to help you out as best we can. And even if that means that you don't call me and spend a bunch of money with me to go fix your stuff, we want to try to help you out as best as we can. So we hope this PSA was helpful. We hope at very minimum, if you watch this video, and it might at least spark a little bit of thought, constructive thought. Hey, look, maybe I need to maintain this. And look, if you had a leaky water line under your house you didn't know about for the last year and a half and it's moved, do yourself a favor, give us a call. Phone numbers and links over here somewhere. We'll come out and take a look at it, figure out what needs to happen. So, hey, once again, hey, I also want to say thank you to everybody who's been watching and commenting and sharing and liking and all that. I never in a million years would have thought that this thing would have been working. So, thanks again, everybody.